Yes, welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV as we continue our coverage of the Scottish Classic Round 1 event from Finavon here in Forfar. Now, we've already had a look at some of the very nice bikes that are soon to take part in this event, but right now it's time to get down to all of the racing footage, so let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into race 1. Yes, welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Scottish Classic Round 1 event that was held at Finavon Hill in Forfar. And this, of course, is the first race of the day. As you can see, the weather was absolutely perfect here at Finavon Hill. Maybe a little on the windy side, which is why you can see some of the footage a bit shaky in this video, but we're just waiting on number 22 there, Darrell Wiley, trying to get his 350 Honda fired up. Looks like he's having a bit of a problem there. Normally Darrell's Honda's usually quite reliable, but appears he's having a bit of trouble getting this bike fired up in order to take to the line, but hopefully he will manage to get it fired up, but I don't think it's going to be happening for this race. So it looks like Darrell's going to have to give up, and he's give the start marshal Stuart Riddle the OK to begin the race. And this is the first race of the day, the combined 368, 374 and 378 class. And so as we begin our very first lap of 2025, it looks like it's Liston Bell, your race leader on the big 500 Jawa. Second place is Robert Kennedy on the 1975 CCM. That's a bike that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout. And third place looks like it's number 125 Ian Stainton. But Lewis Bell currently making a move up to the front of the pack. Number 154 just going through there is Gillian Murray on her 250 Can-Am. But here's your race leader coming round to complete lap 1. It's number 98 Liston Bell on the big Jawa 4-stroker, doing a bit of smoking there as he comes down the hill, but most of the riders coming round now to complete lap 1. And it looks like we've got a change of leader at the front now. It's currently number 9, Lewis Bell on the CCM. Second is still number 98, Liston Bell. Third is Robert Kennedy there, going through on the CCM. Just behind Robert is Ian Stainton, also riding a Cruise Stroker. So here's your race leader, number 9, Lewis Bell, on what I think is a reproduction in CCM. Second place is his older brother, Liston. It's still currently Ian Stainton in third place, being chased there by Robert Kennedy. Now, although, as you can see, the weather here at Finavon Hill was nice and bright and spring-like, there was still a very cold, stiff wind blowing from the west, which certainly kept the temperature down, and it was woolly hats and warm jackets that were the order of the day. Some more of the riders making their way through there. Callum Sangster, number 222, that's Bill Bruce, just going through on that Husqvarna TT500 Yamaha that we had a look at in our paddock video. But it's Lewis Bell who's coming round to complete another lap. Still in second place is this man here, number 98, Liston Bell, on that rather smoky big 4-stroke Jawa. So it looks like Lewis is off to a good start here for the 2025 season. Lewis has just currently come back from quite a serious injury from a couple of years back, but it looks like Lewis is up and back up to speed once again. There's your second place man, number 98, Liston Bell. So Liston also going quite well. Number 125 is Ian Stainton on the Clues Stroker. Number 17 is Mike van der Merwe on the 370 Suzuki. So up at the front of the pack, it's still number 9, Lewis Bell, absolutely flying around the Forfar racetrack on that quite nice CCM, the Clues competition machine. So Lewis has got quite a decent gap between himself and his older brother Liston in second position. So there's your second place man coming into shot now. Number 98 Liston Bell on the big 4-stroke Jawa. Third place is currently number 125 Ian Stainton. Fourth is Mike van der Merwe. That's Robert Kennedy just coming through on the 75 CCM. It looks like Darryl Wiley has managed to get that Honda up and running, so he is taking part in this race, but I think Darryl is quite a long way down the pack. So we're back with our current race leader, number 9 Lewis Bell, who is now on his last lap of this first race of the day. So Lewis looking very comfortable there at the front for his first win of the day. It's still number 98 Liston Bell in second. It looks like Liston's cruising round on that big 4-stroke Jawa. There's your third place rider, number 125 Ian Stainton on the Clues Stroker. So it looks like it's Lewis Bell who's taken the win, and here's your second place man just about to cross the line. So it's a runner-up position for Liston Bell for the first race of the day. So that brings us on to the first race of the day for the pre-1989 125, 250s and 500s. And you may remember this class was really all about the 125s last year, but we've now introduced 250s and 500s in this class for 2025. So as they leave the line, a good start there by Mike McClurty, and John Miller also made a good start there in second position, but it looks like it's number 5 James Newby in second position, and James is riding that lovely Italian 125 Cagiva. So as the riders come towards us, it's still number 416 Mike McClurty on the CR125 Honda being pursued by this man here, number 5 James Newby on the Italian 125 Cagiva. Quite good to see another one of these Cagivas taking to the track here at Finavon Hill. So the riders make their way up the hill for lap 1. It looks like it's still number 416 Mike McClurty on the CR125 Honda. That's another one of the bikes that we had a look at in the Racing Paddock videos, and you may remember me telling you just how quick this little 125 was around this Finavon track, and you can see that Mike's already opened up a decent gap on second place man James Newby on the Cagiva. Just making their way through is number 254 is that's John Miller on the CR125 Honda. Number 59 is Ewan Davidson, and he's riding another lovely KX 125 Kawasaki. So we're back with our race leader, number 416 Mike McClurty, and this little 125 certainly dominated the pre-89 class in 2024, so looks like Mike McClurty's off to another good start in this first race of the year. Number 76 coming towards us there is Steve Ward, and you may remember we had a look at this bike also in our paddock walkabout, a lovely KX 125. It looked like it recently undergone some kind of refurbishment. Just going through as well there is that's Mark Gibson on his 86 RM 125 Suzuki. So Mark's certainly flying the flag for Suzuki this afternoon with those black wheels. So as the riders begin another lap, it's still number 416, Mike McClurty on the CR125 Honda, and you can see the gap between him and the second place man just going through, number 5 James Newby on that lovely Cagiva. Number 59 is currently in 4th position, that's Ewan Davidson, and Ewan's also riding a lovely KX125 Kawasaki. But you can see the weather here at Finavon Hill is absolutely perfect for classic racing, because we didn't actually race at this event in 2024 because just a couple of days before we were due to hold this event, we had some really wet spring weather, and this track basically turned into a swimming pool, so the event was cancelled for 2024. But it's still Mike McClurty who leads this man here, number 5 James Newby on the Italian Cagiva. John Miller just making his way through there, so John's also made a good start in this first pre-1989 class race of the day. So that's John Miller making his way up Finavon Hill, and we're back with our race leader as he starts his final lap of this race. So this looks like it's going to be a comfortable win for number 416 Mike McClurty, and I think it's still going to be James Newby who's going to cross the line in second position as we take a look at number 59 again. It's Ewan Davidson, so I think Ewan's currently in third place, so this will be a very good start to Ewan's day if he takes that third place position. So basically that was the highlights of the first pre-1989 class race of the day, which now brings us on to the big bike class. So these are the pre-1984 boys out for their first race of the day. Another fantastic lineup of pre-1984 bikes. So these guys getting all lined up, and your official race starter this afternoon is Stuart Riddle. So we've got around 23 bikes on the line for this race, so that's quite a healthy class to get us underway. It's a good start there by number 151 John Stokes. Craig Smith's also made a good start on the inside there, but it's John Stokes going in to turn 1 who's your race leader. Craig Smith is in second position on that black 490 Michael. So currently it's number 151 John Stokes on the CR250 Honda. Second place is Craig Smith on the Michael. In third position there is number 45, and I think that's Chris Kirkbride on that lovely Yamaha YZ250. So Chris Kirkbride making a move there for that second place position as we take a look at number 2 Paul Chiappa. So as the bikes cross the line to complete lap 1, it's still number 151 John Stokes on the Honda being followed by Craig Smith, number 25 on the 490 Michael. Chris Kirkbride is currently in third place on the YZ Yamaha, and it's number 511 Chris Rogerson who is in fourth on that big Michael. But it looks like John Stokes is got some kind of problem there with the Honda. Number 233 is Graham Smith. Graham again going very well on his RM400 Suzuki. Number 334 is Kevin Smith, and you may remember that was a nice Maiko that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout video. But it's currently number 45 now who's your race leader, Chris Kirkbride, on that quite rapid 250 YZ Yamaha. Craig Smith is in second position on the 490 Maiko, so this is quite a good start here from Chris Kirkbride on the YZ Yamaha. So Chris doing very well on this 250 to lead that 490 Maiko of Craig Smith there in second position. Chris Rogerson is now currently in third, and it looks like it's Graham Smith in fourth spot. Number 87 there is Darren Brown on the 1979 400 Maiko. I think that's an old enduro bike that's been modified for motocross, so Darren going quite well. John Stokes is back up and running and making his way through the pack, but we've got a new race leader. It's now number 25 Craig Smith, who is currently just ahead of number 45 Chris Kirkbride, so it's quite a good scrap developing between these first two or three riders at the front. So it's still Graham Smith in fourth position on the RM 400 Suzuki. If we take a look at number 52, that's Bill Porteous on his nice Yamaha. Number 151, John Stokes, is beginning to make his way through the pack after his brief off-track excursion. So John beginning to move up to the front of the pack. Number 25, it's still Craig Smith, your race leader. Number 45 is Chris Kirkbride in third. Number 233, Graham Smith, is now moved up into third position, just ahead of number 511 there, Chris Rogerson, who's riding a 490 Maiko. So I think it's about 6 laps of this Finavon Hill racetrack for the P1984 bikes, and just going through there is Dean Rutherford on his 250 Husqvarna, and that's one of 2 bikes that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout. So there's Dean doing very well on his 1983 250, but this guy here is also doing very well. It's Craig Smith, your current race leader, number 25 on the big Maiko. Number 2 just making his way through there is multiple Scottish twin shock champion, that's racing legend Paul Chiappa, who's now 65 years of age, and he still rides that big Maiko like he's still 16. As we take another look there at number 87, that's Darren Brown on that lovely 1979 400 Maiko. Absolutely gorgeous looking piece of kit, that Maiko of Darren's. So we're catching up with number 2 again, Paul Chiappa on the 490 Maiko, being chased by number 81 there, that's Chris Cannon on his Suzuki. So quite a decent scrap going on here between number 2 Paul Chiappa and number 81 Chris Cannon, as we catch up with some of the other riders. Number 109 there, just coming into shot, that's Colin Nelson on his 250 Maiko. So looks like Colin's enjoying himself out there. There's your current race leader, number 25 Craig Smith, and I think Craig's got quite a decent lead over the second place man. So Craig's making his way up at Finavon Hill. And number 20 there, that's Sam Sibbald, and you may remember that JBR SR 500 Yamaha that we had a look at in the paddock. That's Sam riding that particular machine. So we're just waiting on our race leader crossing the hill, coming round on his last and final lap of this first pre-1984 class race of the day. So it looks like it's going to be a comfortable win here for Craig Smith, number 25, and I think this is a battle for second position. It's currently number 233, Graham Smith, who's in second position on the RM 400 Suzuki. But it's a win for Craig Smith, and it's going to be Graham Smith who's going to cross the line in second. Okay, that brings us back to our second race of the day for the combined pre-68s, pre-74s and pre-78 class, and this of course is race 4. And as I mentioned earlier, your starter there is Stuart Riddle, a very good racer in his day, who's currently now taking a kind of back seat to the racing and helping out doing the start here at Finavon. So it looks like everybody's good to go, and we're almost ready to get underway. So Stuart Riddle just moving into position, just waiting to get the okay from the clerk of the course, and does a lead the line. A cracking start there from Darryl Wiley on the 354 stroke Honda. So Darryl's off to a flyer as they go into turn 1. But almost straight away, it's number 9, Lewis Bell, who's taken the lead from number 22, Darryl Wiley, and third place is number 98, Liston Bell. But it looks like this race is going to have to be stopped because we've had a bit of an accident into turn 1 there, and it's the lady rider Gillian Murray who's taken quite a bad tumble into turn 1. So we're going to have to stop this race momentarily till Gillian gets seen to by the medical staff. So as the riders make their way back to the paddock, it will be a complete restart of this race, and it looks like everybody's just about good to go again. And we're just waiting on the travelling marshal, making sure that the track is clear to start this race. But as they leave the line for the second time, it's number 98, Liston Bell, who's taken the early lead, and he's being pursued by his younger brother Lewis in second position. Darryl Wiley's also made a decent start again, currently in third position, but it's certainly Liston Bell who's got the drop on his younger brother. So Liston going very well there on that big 4-stroke Jawa machine. So as they go into the turn, it's still Lewis Bell in second position. Number 43 just going through there. There's Andy Malik on the CZ. But you can see that this is an old school type of racetrack here at Finavon Hill. There's no man-made jumps or berms. It's just the natural layout of the landscape, and this way it provokes memories of the old school scrambles that we used to have here in the UK way back in the 1960s and 70s. So we're looking currently at our two front runners, number 9 Lewis Bell on the CCM, being pursued by big brother number 98 Liston on 4-stroke Jawa. So these two having quite a good scrap here at the front of the pack. And just in case you're interested, our second round of 2025 will be held at Slamanan near Falkirk, and that will be on the 18th of May. So if you're not doing anything that weekend and you want to race your old classic, then just go to the Classic Scrambles website for all the information and entry forms. So here we go with number 9, Lewis Bell, on a brand new lap. So he's still currently leading Liston Bell in second position. So it's a battle of the bells here at Finavon. Number 125 is Ian Stainton on that Clues Stroker, which of course was one of the first ever bikes that the great Alan Clues built, and that was before he even registered the name Clues Competition Machines. So as our race leaders cross the line to start another lap, it's currently still number 9, Lewis Bell, who leads Liston Bell in second position. Lewis, of course, on the big single-cylinder CCM bike, and Lewis has that big 4-stroke Jawa inside his machine. And I think it's a 560cc, that bike of Liston. So quite a good scrap here developing between these two brothers at the front of the pack. But just a quick update on that injured lady rider, Gillian Murray, who unfortunately got thrown off her Can-Am bike going into turn 1, but despite a broken shoulder and broken wrist and a dislocated shoulder as well, Gillian was in quite good spirits, but we wish her a very speedy recovery, and we hope to see her back racing with us very soon. So we're back with our race leader, number 9, Lewis Bell, on the 4-stroke CCM. Number 22 is Darrell Wiley. So Darrell certainly off to a much better start than he did in his first race off today. So he's going well there on that 350 Honda. But there's your race leader crossing the line to begin his final lap. Second place is this man here, number 98, Liston Bell. Looks like it's Darrell Wiley, number 22, who's currently in third position. So as Lewis Bell heads up Finavon Hill for the very last time, this looks like it could be win number 2 of the day for this young man on the very rapid CCM 4-stroker. So it's a win for Lewis Bell, and it's going to be Liston who's going to cross that line in second place. And this has been another good finish here by number 22, Darrell Wiley, in third. Okay, moving right along, we are back to the second race for the pre-1989 125 250s and 500s. And it looks like Mike McClurty has made another good start, and he's already opening up a gap as they went into turn 1. It looks like John Miller, who is currently in second place. So John's made another cracking start on his 125 Honda. Looks like Ewan Davidson is currently in third, but it's number 76 making his way through there. That is, of course, Steve Ward on that beautiful KX125 Kawasaki. So as these riders make their way up Finavon Hill, it's still this man here, number 416, and you can see how much of a lead Mike McClurty already has on lap 1. Second position now is number 5, James Newby, on that very quick Italian 125 Cagiva, and currently it's number 76, Steve Ward, in third place. But this little Cagiva of James Newby is very quick around this Finavon Hill racetrack, and as I said, you don't see too many Kajivas still taking part in this kind of classic racing. But you can see that these guys are certainly enjoying themselves out there with this fantastic track, and of course almost perfect weather conditions. So there's your man again, just crossing the line, number 416, Mike McClurty. And as I said during my paddock walkabout, you can see just how quick this little bike is around this Finavon Hill racetrack, and it's a beautiful little CR125, that bike of Mike's, despite, of course, putting those black wheels on the machine, but we'll forgive him for that little misdemeanor. There's your third placed rider, number 76. That's Steve Ward, and Steve's just behind number 5, James Newby's Kajiva. And you can just see James coming across the line to complete another lap, so he's certainly having a very good day out there on that Italian Kajiva. And I'm pretty sure that that's a late 1989 Kajiva 125 that James is riding, but it just gives you an idea just how quick these little bikes were in the late 1980s, and as I've said many times already, it's good to see one of these Italian 125s racing again, as most of them are really tucked away in private collections and the like, but it's good to see one back on the track. But number 416, Mike McClurty, appears to be out there on his own on his CR125, so he's having another fantastic day on his little Honda, who Mike was telling me that is completely rebuilt this bike during the winter shutdown, and I think it's faster this year than it was in 2024. Number 59 just going through there again is Ewan Davidson on his KX 125, another cracking looking Kawasaki. Now, I was hoping to see a lot more 250s and 500s taking part in this pre-1989 class this year. You may remember that this class was solely for the 125s in 2024, but we've now opened it to 250s and the bigger 500s. So if you've got a pre-1989 250, 500 or even 125, then why not dust it down and get it racing with the Scottish Classic Club. Now there's your second place man, still number 5, James Newby on the Kajiva. But it's a win for number 416, Mike McClurty, so that's his second win of the afternoon, and it's another good performance by James Newby, number 5 in second position. It looks like John Miller is going to cross the line in third. So that brings us on to race 6, and this will be the second race for the pre-1984 class. So there were some really good riders in that first race in this class, and look out for the likes of Paul Chiappa and Craig Smith, who also did well in that first race. But it looks like we're good to go. Our race starter is Stuart Riddle, and he lets the bikes loose from the line. Paul Chiappa's made an absolute stormer of a start there on that 490 Micro. So as they go into turn 1, it's Paul Chiappa, your race leader. I think currently second is number 511 Chris Rogerson. John Stokes has also made a decent start in third place. So as we begin lap 2, it's the veteran racer, number 2, Paul Chiappa, who leads. Number 511, Chris Rogerson. John Stokes is currently in third. It looks like Graham Smith is in fourth place on that very quick RM 400 Suzuki. And so as they come up to cross the line to complete lap 1, it's number 2, Paul Chiappa, your race leader, from number 511, Chris Rogerson. John Stokes is currently third. Graham Smith is in fourth. As we take a look at number 81, that's Chris Cannon on his 250 RM Suzuki. So it's still the 65-year-old Paul Chiappa, your race leader. Chris Rogerson is still currently in second, so we've got two 490 Michaels in positions 1 and 2. And it looks like John Stokes is still currently in third, and John Stokes, of course, is riding the 250 CR Honda, so he's doing quite well to keep up with those bigger 490s just ahead of him. So there's your third place man, John Stokes, who's just been passed by number 233 Graham Smith on the 400 Suzuki. But you can see the track in fantastic condition. A bit of dust starting to fly, so it'll give you an idea just how dry it's been here in Scotland in the last few weeks, which certainly makes a change to it being wet and miserable. As we take a look at our third place man there, number 233 Graham Smith. Number 27 is Mike Doby. I think that's a red rocket that Mike's riding, although of course it's got those white plastics on it. So it's still Paul Chiappa who is coming under pressure here from number 511 Chris Rogerson in second position, but Paul's still managing to keep himself at the sharp end of this tussle here at the front. It looks like Chris Rogerson's trying his damnedest there to make a move on Paul Chiappa, but this is a good scrap here between these very quick riders at the front of the pack. So we're just catching up with a few of the other riders. Andy Malik is just going through there. Number 87 again is Darren Brown. Darren still going well on that immaculate 79 400 Michael. So we're back with our trio of riders at the front. It's still number 2 Paul Chiappa on the 490 who leads. Chris Rogerson in second position, but Graham Smith is certainly looking menacing there in third position, so I think we could see a change of track position in the next lap. Graham Smith going very well there on the Suzuki, but it's still Paul Chiappa, number 2, your race leader, from Chris Rogerson, number 511, as they all make their way up Finavon Hill. So it's still Paul Chiappa, number 2, as he crosses a line to complete another racing lap. And Graham Smith is still currently there in third position. I think it's 6 laps of this Finavon racetrack, and I think it's either 4 or possibly 5 for the other classes. But Paul Chiappa is still managing to keep Chris Rogerson at arm's length in second position, with Graham Smith looks like he's challenging for that track position. So Graham Smith looks like he's wanting to move up to the front of the pack on the RM 400 Suzuki. So a nice scrap developing here at the front. And my apologies if some of the footage is a little bit shaky at times, because it was blowing a gale at the top of Finavon Hill, so It's quite hard keeping the camera steady, but Paul Chiappa crosses the line and he's still in first position. Chris Rogerson currently in second. Both of these riders, as I said, riding for 90 Michaels. So any three of these riders could win this race, but it's still Paul Chiappa at the front, your race leader. But we certainly have a lot more racing footage for you to take a look at from this round one event here at Forfar. So this is of course part one, but there will be at least another video and possibly even a third as well. So it's the final lap for number 2 Paul Chiappa, your race leader. Chris Rogerson has still not managed to make a move on the Dunfermline man in first place, but Graham Smith looks like he wants to hit the front on this final lap. So looks like Graham Smith has actually passed Chris Rogerson now. So it's Paul Chiappa, number 2, your race leader. Graham Smith is currently in second. So Chris Rogerson unfortunately down to third at this point with about half a lap of this track still to go. So as we head towards the closing stages of this second pre-1984 class race of the day, it's going to be a win for number 2. Second is going to be Graham Smith, number 233, and it's going to be third place for number 511, Chris Rogerson. Okay, so moving right along, we are back to our third race of the day for the combined pre-68s, pre-74s and pre-1978. So as the bikes leave the line, Liston Bell has made another cracking start, so he's got the jump on his younger brother Lewis in second position. Darrell Wiley's again made a good start there in third place. So as our riders begin lap 2, it looks like Liston Bell is now your race leader. Lewis in second position on the CCM. Currently in third is Darrell Wiley. Ian Stainton in fourth. As in fifth position there is Bill Bruce, and that's that Husqvarna SR 500 Yamaha that we had a look at during our paddock walkabout. So here's the battling bells coming round to complete another lap, and it's Liston Bell just ahead of brother Lewis. So these two again having quite a decent scrap around this Forfar racetrack. And as you can see, just like all brothers do, they share absolutely everything. So Liston's sharing that front runner placing with his brother Lewis. So he's, I don't know if Liston's let Lewis through or if Lewis has said it's my turn, I don't know, but it's currently Lewis at the front who leads his older brother Liston in second. So you can see it doesn't take these guys too long to complete a lap, because they're currently crossing the line to start a new one already, and it's still Lewis who leads Liston, and it's Darrell Wiley there just going through there at third position. So Darrell's certainly made up for a not so good start in that first race of the day. So as the guys head up Finavon Hill, it's still Lewis leading Liston, and remember Lewis has already got 2 wins under his belt. As we take a look at number 29 there, that's Derek McCauley on one of his lovely Bull Tacos, which are another couple of bikes that we had a look at in our paddock videos. So you can see the dust is certainly beginning to fly here at Finavon Hill. It's quite unusual to see the dust flying here at this racetrack. A lot of the times that we come to this track in the early spring, it's usually wet or at the very least damp, but the track's in perfect condition for this weekend's racing. We're looking at number 22, Darryl Wiley, going through there in third position. He's just ahead of number 125, Ian Stainton on the Clues Stroker. So there's your race leader, number 5, Lewis Bell, who's already coming up to lap a couple of the not so fast riders. So it looks like Lewis is getting his scrambles mojo back after his accident a couple of years back when I think he had quite a serious shoulder injury. So it's good to see Lewis back up and running at the sharp end of the pack. So here's the battle for third and fourth positions between number 22 Darryl Wiley and number 125 Ian Stainton. So it appears that there's absolutely no stopping this young man this weekend. Lewis Bell, as I said, has already won 2 races and he's well on his way to what could be a hat-trick of wins, because he's on his final lap as he comes up to pass John Porteous. So another fantastic performance here from the youngster on the big CCM. So as it stands, it looks like it's going to be another win for Lewis Bell, with Liston in second position, and looks like it's going to be this man here, number 125 Ian Stainton, who's going to finish in third, and I think it's going to be another decent result for number 22 Darryl Wiley, who comes in to cross the line just behind Ian Stainton. Okay, just to finish off this part 1 of the racing highlights from Forfar 2025. This is the third race for the pre-1989 class, and looks like that man again, Mike McClurty, has got the whole shot and already beginning to open up a short lead. As we take a look at number 254 on the left hand side here, that's John Miller going through on his 125 Honda, but Mike McClurty going very well here, but we appear to have 2 Kajivas in second and third positions. And if I'm not mistaken, that number 55 bike there in second place will be Stuart Newby, and Stuart's just ahead of his brother James, number 5. But this man here is certainly cracking his way around Finavon Hill, and he's already coming up to complete another lap. So it's 4:16. Mike McClurty, your race leader. Second position is number 55, Stuart Newby, and Stuart's just ahead of him, number 5, James Newby. And both of these riders, of course, are riding these Italian 125 Kajivas. So these two having quite a decent scrap here for the second and third place positions. Number 5 there is James Newby, who's had quite a good day here this afternoon. Number 254 in fourth position is John Miller. But Mike McClurty already coming round to complete another lap. But these two Kajivas are certainly giving Mike McClurty a race for his money, because Mike McClurty did have quite a dominant first 2 races and had quite a good gap between himself and his pursuers in the first 2 races of the day. But these 2 Kajivas are certainly appear to be catching Mike McClurty, so this could be quite a decent race developing here between these very quick trio of 2-stroke 125s. So as this trio of 125s make their way up Finavon Hill, it's still Mike McClurty, your race leader. So if Mike wins this race, he'll have completed a hat-trick of wins, but the Kijivas look like they might have something to say about that, because there's absolutely nothing between these first 3 riders. So this is a cracking race, and as I said, it's great to see these little Italian 125s take to the track once again. So we're looking at the battle of the newbies in 2nd and 3rd place positions. Number 55 is of course Stewart, and number 5 is James, but both of these guys are doing very well on these Kajivas. So we're looking at number 416, your race leader, as he crosses the line to begin his final lap of this race. But this looks like where the battle is going to be on this final lap between the 2 Kajivas belonging to Stewart and James Newby. Now these 2 did appear to be catching Mike McClurty at one time, but it looks like Mike has upped the ante a little and he's opened up a decent gap, and he's looking comfortable for his 3rd win of the afternoon. But this is a good scrap here between these 2 Italian stallions. So it's going to be win number 3 for Mike McClurty, and it's going to be Stewart Newby is going to take 2nd position from number 5, James Newby, in 3rd. And so there you go, that completes the racing highlights for part 1 of the Scottish Classics Round 1 event from Finavon Hill in Forfar. But coming up next, of course, we will have more racing highlights from this event. So once again, thanks for tuning in to Classic Dirt Bike TV, and until the next time, it's goodbye for now.